I'm Kim Belair. In my circles, I'm largely considered, I think, a relatively nice person. These are my dogs, Sage and Flaky. These are my cats, Tag and the Gray Boy. I really enjoy Lego. I collect skulls and taxidermy. I am the crazed CEO of Sweet Baby Inc., the DEI-obsessed censorship mafia who is currently ruining and wokeifying all of the video games that you've ever played. Thank you, it's hard work. Thank you, it's hard work.
Thank you, it's hard work.
I'm gonna come up there right now and I'm gonna fucking stuff that thing up your fucking ass.
It's either because of the
over 80 amazing and often award-winning games that we've worked on.
We created an email called talk@SweetBabyInc., and we just said, hey, if you're a developer who wants to get into the industry, if you're someone who's already in the industry,
and you want to talk,
just talk to us.
What's going on, YouTube? I'm back and I'm tired of this shit. I have to admit something to you. Welcome to Woke World, where everything is no longer about the enjoyment or the storytelling or the depth. Fuck all of that. Now it's all about that fucking word. Inclusive. Oh my fucking God. I swear on everything. If I hear that fucking word one more time, I swear. That word drives me fucking bonkers. I just hate it. Do you see the world we live in now? The gaming industry is now being feminized, but you have people complaining about talking about men being feminine or the gaming industry being feminized or things being catered towards more towards trans, bi, and gay. And maybe that's why things are so feminine. Maybe that's why some guys have exhibited feminine traits, because you've poisoned our media with this shit. You've made masculinity look like it's a crime and catered to an entire demographic of trans, gay, non-binary, the LGBT community, that other people who might be straight and who are not into these kinds of things are now left in the dark. We are now forced to absorb this kind of slop, this woke garbage, this trash. Welcome to Woke World, or should I say Clown World, a world of people like this bumbling idiot who was forcing checklists into a game over fucking basic storytelling or gameplay design. They don't have a passion for writing or storytelling or depth or gameplay or game design. No, they just care about their fucking precious diversity checklist, and it shows in these slop games. And slop shows, and it's uncomfortable to watch. It can actually make you cringe up and feel uncomfortable and see very strange and uncomfortable things that make people feel uncomfortable. That's not fair. Everyone is not gay. Everyone is not lesbian, bi, or trans. So forcing these things in media isn't fair to straight fucking people. Some motherfuckers like me or others out there, motherfucker Tarragon is straight. There's other people out there that are fucking straight. This isn't fair. For example, in Spider-Man 2, they actually had a pregnant lady fighting crime in a Spider-Man outfit. That was uncomfortable to see and watch. And I tried to be understanding. I tried to be open-minded, and it was cringe. There was no other way to put it. I couldn't force myself to not fucking cringe because it's weird, dude. And you got people who are actually defending this. I feel bad for you. I pity you. What the fuck is this? I pity anyone who was willing to actually defend this gobbledygook. This is uncomfortable to see and watch. Wokeness is overrated as hell. What the fuck did you do to media? What the fuck happened to the early 2000s where this kind of shit wasn't even going on? We had representation and we had gays and bisexuals, and we didn't have a pronoun checklist right along with it like it's 1984. This is a fucking joke. The CEO of Sweet Baby Inc. is a fucking clown. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, is a fucking joke. Ryan Johnson and Caitlyn Kennedy, that incompetent buffoon, needs to step down from leadership because all she cares about is her political agenda. Yeah, because that worked out so well for shows like Star Wars Acolyte. Don't even get me started on that dumpster fire. I gave it a fair chance. Tried to watch it multiple times. I was being as open-minded as a motherfucker could possibly be, and it was garbage. Wokeness has invaded media, Now it's in our video games. They make games that are directed towards lesbian, bisexuals, and gays. However, not everyone wants to play these games because some of these games fucking suck ass and they're not fun and I don't want to play them. And then they will force their agenda onto games we love, games that people who aren't living in clown world enjoy, like The Last of Us 2, forcing in a character who honestly looks like a transgender person, killing off one of the most important characters in the story with no explanation as to how they even found them. But then that's another story, and saying, fuck it, this is what we want to do. You can kiss my ass. Fuck the woke agenda. Fuck wokeness. Fuck the message. Fuck this woke dog shit. I have nothing against the LGBT community. If you're gay, that's your business. But dude, guess what? Not everybody is fucking gay. So that's not fair that they invade the media with what they want and it affects what we love. For example, Wolfenstein. I remember playing Wolfenstein 3D years ago and it was fucking awesome. However, then years later they rebooted it and it also featured BJ Blazkowicz, a cool character. He was the main character of the old games. Then you have him get replaced by 2 girls? This is a franchise that is a main character who was a dude. Why are you just brushing him to the side and replacing the character with dudes? Dude, look at Doom for a second. Doom, the main character is a dude. So that franchise has a dude as a main character. It's a game for dudes. It's marketed towards guys, just like Sailor Moon. Look at Sailor Moon. Oh, what do you know? Sailor Moon is marketed towards girls. Ah, what a shocker. So, you wouldn't take Sailor Moon and make the main characters all guys, would you? No. Just like how you wouldn't take Doom and make the main characters girls after you just spent years establishing that the main characters are guys. That makes no sense. Why replace characters in a game like Doom with girls? That's crazy. Doom is made for dudes. The main character is a male. Why is he being replaced by a girl in his own franchise? Would you make the main characters of Sailor Moon men? If the answer is no, then why do you do this with something like Wolfenstein or Doom? Let dudes have their fucking games. Stop shoving in woke politics into games. It's cringe. Plus, dude, this is common sense. Dudes have their movies, their games, their stuff. Girls have their movies, their games, their stuff. Stop trying to force a checklist onto ongoing franchises like Star Wars or video game franchises like Wolfenstein. These are some examples. So this isn't just something people pulled out of their ass and you can kiss it. This shit I had to sit through, spending time watching great stuff, but then being overly exposed to woke media. It was a fucking nightmare. This woke world is a fucking mess. It's fucking crazy. It's uncomfortable. It's cringe. It's awkward. It's weird. I don't want to keep experiencing this shit. I want the early 2000s back. Back then, those were the fucking days. Back when this kind of shit was not going on. What the fuck is this? However, it's not fair that people like me, who are just straight dudes who want to enjoy media, have to be put to the side and exposed to overly feminized media. And that's not fair. Then you'll hear people say, oh,
Men in today's era are feminized.
or
This is being feminized.
and all that. Yeah, well, maybe that wouldn't happen if you didn't feminize media. Then men would not be overly feminized in society, you dipshit. There is a huge demographic of people who are just straight and want to enjoy the damn media instead of being exposed to woke world every day. Oh, I'm sorry, clown world every day. People want to enjoy the fucking show or game and not feel uncomfortable or cringe all the time. That's not fun. Do you want to experience being uncomfortable and cringed up all the time, Madam CEO of Sweet Baby Inc.? No. So why subjectify all these people to this kind of shit? And that goes double for you, Caitlyn Kennedy. Man, what is wrong with these clowns? Why do we have to be exposed to overly feminized woke media? Not fair.
Currently ruining.
And wokeifying all of the video games that you've ever played.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're gonna sit there and cheer and clap when this kind of slop is being broadcasted to the world? What kind of audience are you? Are you people even gamers? And they're clapping for this shit when she clearly doesn't give a fuck about the game. She just cares about a checklist, just like Caitlyn Kennedy in Star Wars. When you see half of the games that was broadcasted here, half of this shit looks like absolute slop. Who wants to even play this shit? The only games that even piqued any remote interest were Alan Wake 2, Spider-Man 2, and God of War Ragnarok. Everything else looks so ugh. And plus, why invade those games? With your annoying woke politics, people want to enjoy the fucking game without you forcing an agenda. It's annoying. Why can't you have great TV shows or even movies like Snowfall or Supercell, right? Those shows are made for a black audience. Just create your own show for your own audience. Same with lesbian, bi, trans, and gay. They actually did this in Star Wars. In Star Wars, they made a transgender clone. Yes, this is real, and didn't explain it through the lore? How is this even possible? All of a sudden, especially since Jango Fett, the person they are cloned after, is a man. So how is he transitioning? What technology is he even using? What is the explanation for this? Is this fucking necessary? In Star Wars, who asks for this? What? And if they want representation, instead of forcing shit into our media and invading everyone else's media, just make your own media. There's an idea. Instead of invading great franchises like Star Wars, leave it the fuck alone and make your own franchise. And that goes double for Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero, and to see that you're willing to shove politics into a game of my favorite superhero too is a fucking nightmare. This is what makes these games so hard to play. Not because they're hard, but because they're overly woke, and they're absolute slop. And they only cater to the LGBT community and don't care about people who are just straight. There's that too. Straight people are basically isolated. That's not fair.
You've either heard us from all of these wonderful games, or perhaps you're familiar with the nearly year-long hate campaign that has been waged against us as a team. Unfortunately, today I'm here to talk about that in a talk I'm going to call What Happens When You Get Harassed? A Sweet Baby Story.
What happens when you get harassed? Oh, I'll tell you. They hide in their little echo chamber and disable comments, that's what. Then they'll call you a bigot when it's not even your fault. You might literally be feeling uncomfortable and cringed up from what they forced and shoved into the media. And then the story and or gameplay isn't even good. So then you're just forced slop and don't even get a story to intellectually stimulate you or good gameplay to push you through the experience. So you're left feeling cringed, awkward, and uncomfortable. Do they care? No! As long as they have their experience, their fantasies, while stealing every fucking body else's. The shows we watch, the games, they're stealing it away and replacing it with this woke shit and not allowing people to see media like back in the early 2000s when it was free. It was different. They didn't shove this kind of shit into media, and you could actually watch it and enjoy it and not feel cringe or uncomfortable. They are narcissists who don't even consider people's feelings. They don't care.
Who is Sweet Baby Inc? We are a narrative development company, and we are a team of narrative developers. What that means is that we do script writing, storytelling, narrative work for video games, and sometimes that means that we come in for writing punch-ups. Sometimes that means we're the entire writer's room for a project. Sometimes that means we're coming in very, very early on and helping them start the groundwork, the world building. But what I want to really stress is that all of our work focuses very heavily and very seriously on story. That is what narrative development is.
Narrative development. So, okay, if that's what narrative development is, then why do you focus more on gender politics and woke media than you do the actual storytelling in depth? When you pick up that pencil or keyboard and type that script or write that script, do you even understand what you're doing? Do you have a modicum of what you're really doing when you pick up that keyboard and write that script? Because if this is the result of what you're writing, holy shit. Where is the passion, the depth, Where's the focus on the storytelling? Why is it overly focused on woke media trying to check off a checklist instead of making a fantastic game? You focus more on gender politics and wokeness than you do actually creating a gaming experience that's fun for the player and has a great story like Red Dead Redemption 2.
But the problem with portfolio reviews is that they also assume that it's a meritocracy, right? They assume the problem is your portfolio and not the fact that maybe there's a lot of other reasons that you are not getting the gig. So knowing that there were a myriad problems to be solved, we created an email called talk@Sweet Baby Inc. And we just said, hey, if you're a developer who wants to get into the industry, if you're someone who's already in the industry and you want to talk, just talk to us.
They created an email for people who want to get in the industry. Why even bother if you're just going to fire them? As many companies have done for either saying the wrong pronouns or not following to conformity with your belief system. Since you live in clown world, you want everyone around you to live in clown world with you, without a fucking choice. You are a fucking clown, you're a joke. And you in this woke apocalypse is one of the worst things that has ever happened to media. Trying to watch and play this shit is a fucking nightmare. It's hard. It makes you literally cringe and feel uncomfortable. That's not fair to other people who just want to enjoy the fucking game. Then, the stories aren't even good and the gameplay is some slop, so you can't even get that enjoyment out of it.
And so in that year, we ended up with a lot of people who he connected to, and we talked a lot about advocacy, we talked a lot about helping people get into the industry, and we also talked a lot about the importance of telling stories from a variety of perspectives, and especially of having those writers and those creators in the room to help you with that. And as we joined new conversations, as we worked on more projects, more people joined our team. And so in that year, or in those subsequent years, we grew from a team of only 5 to a team of 16 incredibly talented people. And during that time, as you might imagine, a lot of game teams were looking for guidance, both in terms of narrative, but also in terms of learning how to tell
Diverse stories and feature diverse characters.
And so naturally, because we were kind of in that conversation,
We helped them.
throughout the years, again, we worked on, as I said, a ton of games. For most of these, we did writing, story development. Sometimes we just kind of came on and did spot checks.
But the thing that genuinely made me really, really proud of all of us
Was that we were living up to the title that I had wanted to. We were becoming true narrative developers. You don't learn necessarily like, oh, here are the ins and outs of working in this specific company. You instead hyper-focus on narrative and all of its parts.
and you get really good at it.
You get really, really specific at it.
See anything yet, Patrick?
I need my glasses. It's the
Woke
truck.
Specifics of storytelling. Yes, what you're talking about is the fact that the writer's goal is to tell the story based on gender politics or based solely on representation. Only that means their depth, the meaning, the passion, the inspiration, all that comes second. But first, it's all about the message. And that's more important than the substance of the story or gameplay, creating absolute slop. And that is the problem.
And if I'm being honest, just as
The creative myself.
that's all I've really ever wanted. I've never wanted to be known by audiences, really. I have never wanted to be known by gamers, certainly. And I've wanted to be...
You claim you never wanted to be known, my ass. Why else would you invade popular game franchises like Spider-Man or God of War?
I have wanted to be known by game devs, and writers especially.
You're full of hot air. Then you claim you never wanted to be known by gamers in the gaming industry. How is that possible if you got into the gaming industry with official games? Yes, you're going to garner the attention of gamers if you decide to get into this line of work. What did you really expect?
I want teams and studios and writers and creatives to think of us
When they need a hand.
when they want that more support. I want to be a game dev's game dev.
And
This is like toxic positivity. It is so cringe. It's like getting a divorce and acting happy about it. It's fucking cringe. You're acting all positive and all happy about forcing in politics and agendas into media and games. That's fucking cringe. Get the fuck out of here with that. It's not about forcing in people of color, right? Because Finn was in The Force Awakens. But what did they do? Chump his character and gave him no development throughout the movie. So now when you do this with Alan Wake 2, instead of focusing on the depth or narrative, you just care about a diversity checklist over the story in depth. I swear, you're like a school teacher. This school teacher clown is gonna try and school the whole world on diversity. Instead of allowing people to enjoy their media, you can be diverse, but you don't have to gender swap or invade other stories or change stories or have a diversity checklist just to achieve this. You're a bunch of fucking clowns and idiots. You have no idea what I had to sit through playing woke video games and watching woke TV shows. It's a fucking nightmare. You're a fucking joke. You're an absolute bumbling buffoon. You're an absolute clown, and you contributed to making people feel cringe and uncomfortable for no fucking reason when motherfuckers want to enjoy the game without feeling that way, asshole. This isn't just for you. Escapism is for everyone, and here you come trying to fuck with everyone else's escapism. If you're just a dude who's straight, fuck you, they're coming for your escapism. Yeah, fuck the main demographic that buys your games. Hello, LGBT exclusivity. How is that fair? And even Elon Musk roasted your ass. Holy hell, you're a delusional dimwit. People who are out of touch with reality. Go figure. You're gonna force stuff into media that can actually affect people? That shows you don't care about that. You don't care about how that can affect other people. Instead of just making your own show or movie or video game where you can have representation and be
Inclusive.
all you want, no. You want to invade everyone else's fantasies, ideas, and creativity. Then, when someone calls you out on this, you say that they are arguing for you to collapse? No, he called your company evil, which that is. What you're doing is evil. That is evil. Forcing identity politics into other people's ideas that don't even belong to you. Having innocent people who are just trying to enjoy media have to absorb woke politics instead of good storytelling or great gameplay. That is fucking evil. You have no idea what that can do to someone's mind, and you don't even care because
Oh, look at me. I got to have my fantasy. All it took was invading someone else's instead of just making my own.
how selfish, rude, fucked up, and retarded of you to do. And that, my friend, ladies and gentlemen, is evil. You have no idea what it's like when I see their website. Look at their website for a second. It's like walking into a daycare center. What the fuck is this? This is the kind of media you want to push onto people?
So on October 23rd, there was Spider-Man 2, and then on October 27th, there was Alan Wake 2, both big AAA games, and we had worked
On narrative and character
for both of them with literally
years of
work on Spider-Man 2, and we would finally get to announce them.
We were very excited.
In retrospect, we were actually like comically excited because we had a couple thousand followers at the time, mostly game devs, and we were like, okay, it's time to stand up and be proud of our work. Wow.
this is gonna be really nice.
And I remember even thinking that morning as we made these posts, like, I wonder if anyone's going to notice that, like, we posted about Spider-Man, we're also posting about Alan Wake. Like, will anyone put it together? Because I think, hey, a narrative development company, what does that mean? I'm really interested. We were instead found by kind of, 4chan and the worst people on Twitter. And looking back, there is a funny element to it where I go, like, people were kind of talking like, I've discovered a secret Canadian company. Like, these are the guys who did it. And the discovery that they had made was actually like our public-facing website that we advertise our services on and which you can go to right now if you'd like to collaborate with us or just learn more. It's not hidden. And if it is, it's very bad because it's at sweetbabyinc.com. But literally within a few hours of me seeing that first post, we were not only being accused of,
Forcing a black person into Alan Wake.
which one is cool, but we didn't do, and also of putting pride flags into Spider-Man's New York, which, again,
So good.
love to see them, but we were not responsible for them. But suddenly we were being told that we were, funded by BlackRock and that actually we weren't a narrative development company, we were a DEI company. Suddenly the conspiracy was just alive. They were finding photos of us. That's me, I'm the CEO.
I have issues.
Twitter CEO Elon Musk decided that he would chime in with his very cool thoughts. Yeah, some very cool, very good thoughts in there. Within Sweet Baby, beyond what we do for work, there are authors, there are comic book creators, there are TTRPG creators, game designers, people who have other work that they want to share with the world, that they should be allowed to share with the world. Because I would love to post a picture of my latte or my dogs without people going like, oh, I guess coffee.
He is woke now.
And hey, that dog is pretty gay, but
Then you want to say, oh, They're authors, they're comic creators. Okay, so they should completely understand that, hey, a comic book creator should make their own shit. Create your own ideas, make your own work. Stop sitting there invading everyone else's. It makes people uncomfortable. And they can't get enjoyment out of the media because it takes so much mental energy to try and be understanding of wokeness. They want to just enjoy the media. They don't want to be forced to have to resonate with woke politics. That is a nightmare, and it's unfair and fucked up, especially if you're a comic book creator. You should completely understand this. If you're a comic creator, then imagine if you had an idea of transgender or gender ambiguity, or non-binary or lesbian or gay or representation, and someone came up to you and said, we need more males, we need more straight men, and they changed your idea that you worked so hard on just because it needed to be more
inclusive.
This can turn around on you so quick. How is that fair? Imagine if that happened to you. That's what you're basically doing to people. And that's why it's fucking evil.
Because I would love to post a picture of my latte or my dogs without people going like, oh, I guess coffee is
Woke now.
and hey, that dog is pretty gay. But
You compare gender and woke politics to a dog and coffee. You are literally out of touch with reality. Let me clue you in for a sec. Now I'm gonna go off on a rant for a sec, so bear with me. Imagine this, a straight person who is minding their own business. They want to watch a movie or a cartoon or play a video game. And then they play a game, but don't realize that it has woke politics. They could be mentally ill, schizophrenic, or a normal rational state of mind and have no idea what's going on. Things to take into consideration when putting things into innocent people's minds. All of a sudden they play this game and they go out into the real world after playing multiple games and being exposed to tons of media with woke politics. Then suddenly they turn into a person who is weird and obsessive over girl power, and they might be a dude or someone who isn't gay, and they are feeling uncomfortable because someone forced in a sex scene with someone who looks trans, and they are clearly being fucked in the ass like The Last of Us 2. And when you hear people say,
Oh, boys are so feminine these days.
or
Everything is so feminine.
and people complain and say men should be more masculine. This is why things like this are happening, because they keep feminizing media and not allowing other people to enjoy media the way they want to. Oh, you're so feminine now. What a turnoff.
Oh my god, you have a smart dick.
You have like no balls. What a pussy. Maybe that person wouldn't be acting effeminate if you didn't force down transgender video games into their throats. Then, when they go to social circles, because this has been all over media for so many years, they are subjected to humiliation and cringe-inducing moments because they don't realize how much this kind of media can affect your mind. Imagine some weird male feminist or obsessive dude who goes on and on about how attractive every girl is and
Girl power.
worshiping women. Then a female tells them, dude, you need to get a grip. This is too much. Stop complimenting me all the time. Hop off for a second. Oops. Looks like woke politics strikes again, because the person was so exposed to this kind of media that when they try and talk to people or go out in the real world, this is how they think. Oh,
Girl power is great.
oh no, go figure, because when you think like that, it's not that attractive to other people. Whoa, big shock. When you add this into a conversation, you could be talking about some basic normal shit. Then out of nowhere, you know what? This guy didn't express my pronouns. I feel assaulted. I feel oppressed. What the fuck is this? You mean to tell me that in a conversation about normal basic shit, you're thinking about Brad, who didn't remember your 15 different gender identities? That, ladies and gentlemen, is woke world. That is mental illness. And they are putting mental illness on TV and in video games and forcing it down your fucking throat from people who are mentally ill. And you yourself could have some mental issues and they don't even care. They're gonna try and drag you down with them. This is what I mean. People like the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc. are evil because they are willing to take out their mental illness out on other people's products. She didn't create not a goddamn thing. She didn't create God of War. She didn't create Spider-Man. She didn't create any of these ideas or videos from ideas, but she will force woke politics into it. And if you have a problem with that, they will fire you. Welcome to Woke World, everybody. Stay away from woke politics no matter what. Don't listen to them because they are mentally ill. There are a lot of people in the LGBT community who have mental illness, and they spread this kind of mental illness in media, cartoons, video games, and all that, and they don't care how that might affect normal people and their minds.
intellectually, I know is wrong, right? We are doing something
good.
We are writers and designers of
tremendous skill and tremendous experience, and we've
never censored anything, nor have we ever wanted to. Frankly, if you really want my opinion, I think largely games could be hornier. I think they should be darker. I think they should be stranger.
She thinks that largely games should be hornier, and she thinks they should be darker. Do you see the contradiction there? How are you going to make a game hornier and darker if all you care about is the woke politics in it? That's what's preventing it from being
Hornier and darker.
wokeness. So the very thing you're saying is contradicted by your actions in the gaming industry. Wow, go figure. The people who want to call you racist and say you're the bigot, happen to be the biggest racists themselves. Go figure.
At the core of my approach here, and the approach that we take as a company, I genuinely believe that representation is not censorship, it is innovation. Diversity in narrative makes things more intense. It can make it more visceral and more real. It doesn't have to always make something more wholesome or softer. I really do believe that by opening up to new perspectives, by getting folks in the room, we actually push more boundaries and we get more real. But
what happens when you get harassed is it doesn't matter what you believe.
Representation in narrative. There is nothing wrong with representation. However, if you are only making the project with the sole sense and purpose of just making the character representative of a race or group, then you aren't focusing on the storytelling or depth anymore. The same thing you claim should be
Darker and edgier.
You even claim this yourself. What do you think could interfere with those things? I wonder. Could it be instead of focusing on the fact that the story is edgy or strange or dark, kind of like Fallout New Vegas or something, instead you're focusing on gender and racial politics. You're focusing on wokeness overall. So the very actions of this individual contradicts what she's saying about wanting stories to be edgier and darker. What do you think could easily interfere with that? I wonder. Then she has the audacity to claim that what their company is going through,
We're the victims now, even though we are forcing things into your games that make people uncomfortable and interfere with the story, the experience, the depth.
And fuck all those people. I'm gay or lesbian, or I identify with this group. I want what I want, even if I have to invade your story to get it.
and you have the audacity to play the victim when you're throwing the first shot and claim
It's just misinformation. It's just assumptions and lies.
you are a fucking clown and you're a delusional idiot. You have no consideration for other people's feelings. You're an asshole. You're a complete asshole. People like you are mentally ill, sick, and narcissistic. You don't care how these things might affect people and you shove it in there anyway. So you can't play the victim after that. That isn't fair to people who just want to enjoy the media. You're such an asshole and you don't care about other people's feelings or what they go through playing games with your ideology shoved in.
what's also frustrating is that
It doesn't matter what they believe either.
because so much of this campaign is just misinformation. It's assumptions and lies about who we are, what we do, and what we want. You know, we have our little fingers
Our woke little fingers.
in every pie.
We have our woke little fingers in it.
Ew, that's cringe. That's not something to flex dude or dudette. That's cringe. Ew. See how they openly admit, oh yeah, we're woke as fuck. Like that's somehow some kind of flex when they're invading other people's creative work.
In this industry. And that's the other thing that happens, right? It's they take away your power in some ways, but they also ascribe to you this enormous power. They will claim that you are rich, that you are backed by, shadowy cabals, government orgs. They claim you have the ability to force their favorite studios to bend to your whim rather than the truth, which is that studios and teams hire us to make stories better. Not woker, but actually
Better.
That's how you know people like this tend to expose themselves. They claim that you claim they force studios to bend to their whim. What do you think Sweet Baby Inc. is doing? Coming up to studios, your games, and invading it with gender and woke politics. So, the idea might have been original and had nothing to do with these things. Now, they can't get their game out there unless they go through you, because they don't want to lose their opportunity to get the game out there. They don't want to seem racist or sexist, and this leads to a slop game that is full of woke ideology that isn't fun or engaging to the audience and can even poison your own mind with weird cringe shit that is uncomfortable for people. That's not fair. You're poisoning innocent people's mind by shoving in stuff, prioritizing your fantasy over everyone else's. That is selfish and sick. If you want representation in gender politics, just make your own video game. Stop invading everyone else and then gaslighting afterwards. You're literally gaslighting. You're acting on nonchalant like,
Oh, they claim we force studios to bend to our whim or something.
yeah, motherfucker, that's what you're doing. If they can get fired for going against your ideology, what do you think that is? If they can't get their game out there because they have to go through you first, what do you think that is? So don't gaslight and act like this is just some shit people pulled out of their ass. You see this? Xbox literally forced studios to hire Sweet Baby Inc. and you claimed and made fun of the idea of people accusing you of bending studios to your whim. Okay, well check this out. Xbox just did it with their own studios. Using your company. You didn't exactly stand up and say, hey Xbox, we don't want to force these devs to do this. That's not our company policy. Oh, you didn't stand up. You decided to go through with that anyway. So you can't get mad when people accuse you of bending studios to their whim. Get the fuck real. Man, I miss the early 2000s when this kind of woke dog shit wasn't going on, when shit was free and open and it didn't matter what story you wanted to make. What mattered is that you expressed yourself freely and creatively. It was amazing. The best movies, the best TV shows, the greatest video games of all time, and the best cartoons. We had the best shit. No one cared about these woke politics. People spoke more freely and were more chill about these topics. It was quite the time to be alive. Now look, everyone at the modern era. Look at what everything has been building up to after all these years. This is the new generation. What a complete disaster. What a complete joke. You can't even say I don't have a preference for these kinds of things in my video games without morons like this calling you a bigot for having a preference. How narcissistic. Man, I miss those days. What the fuck is going on in the clown world of 2024? Look, everybody. Look at the CEO of Sweet Baby Inc. This is the definition of toxic positivity. Oh, fuck your fantasies.
I just want my gender ambiguity. I don't care how that might affect you. Oh, fuck your ideas. I know it's not mine, but I want to express my inclusiveness.
That is fucking toxic. That is not your fucking idea. That is something you literally laughed about and smiled over. And that, ladies and gentlemen, like I said before, is fucking toxic. So cringe.
And believe me, when this first started, I was so worried that studios would stop working with us. I worried we seemed too toxic. I worried we seemed too dangerous, too beleaguered, too much of a risk to work with, but that is not what happened. What happened was, at least privately, every team we worked with was quite supportive. The external silence, I'll say, was deafening at times and also frustrating, but such is the way of corporate, and it was still nice fundamentally, I think, to realize that studios, teams, and individuals still wanted us around and still saw our value. Which I will say, though, is also a very disorienting experience, because what happens when you get harassed is that you realize that most of it is just noise and that nothing functionally or fundamentally changes. People say, I'm so sorry for what you're dealing with, but could I get that script on Monday? And you say, yeah, it sucks. Anyway, I will get that to you Monday, though, because there is no time off. There is no stop in video game production. You can monetize a hate video, but there is no hazard pay for harassment.
Monetize a hate video, but no hazard pay for hate speech. Yeah, maybe a person living in woke world all of a sudden sees your video that deconstructs it. It's not just hate. It's a deconstruction of your negative, sick, toxic, positive bullshit, and they start to laugh and think for a moment and say, whoa, I can breathe again. I can be a man again or a normal person again. I can think again. Wow, this video really helped me. While what you're doing really could fuck with a person's mind. That's not a joke. But you want to make it like it's 1984 and call it hate speech. Again, I reiterate, Elon Musk didn't say your company deserved to go broke. He said your company is evil and all they do is make games terrible and try to cancel people. So, You are once again proving the point that you are clearly out of touch, but oh, what did I expect from a company and individuals who are so based that they turn off the comments? Thank goodness it's finally over. Sweet Baby Inc. is a literal cancer, and thank goodness it's finally over. People of the world, absorb good media. Don't allow this mentally ill shit into your life. I know from experience because for over 2 years I tried to be understanding of these kinds of things, of wokeness. And it backfired. Like a dude huffing gasoline crashing into a shop, it was a nightmare. Man, I missed the early 2000s when this wasn't going on. Welcome to the modern era, everyone, where this whack shit is going on. And it can actually affect your mind, so be careful. Don't allow this in your mind. Watch other things that don't have woke politics. And with that being said, this was Tarragon, and I'm out.